Rogue Sun. Like, this is an interesting development here. Thurman, you and I have been putting this video off for a while now.
Yeah, we're late, but we're here. We're doing it. Yes, I was tired. I apologize.
You're going to be even more tired once you get off the plane, man.
I have a layover, so.
Oh, you can always take a nap with the layover. That's a big plus sometimes, especially just waking up. But so when we last left the team here, right? They just beat up the redneck werewolf, and now we've got kind of a almost insane asylum encased in crystals for the fallen rogues. I kind of fuck with that for like it's almost like the in Avengers you have like the raft basically, which is like this tucked away, secure location for a lot of the worst of the worst. And you all obviously have like Arkham Asylum, the Batman universe. This is kind of like their version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like the sassy black grandma trope always hits.
Yeah, I'm really liking. One of the biggest things that I like about superhero comics and cartoons in general. I really like the fact that we're getting a rogue gallery now of villains. I'm really happy the way he's introducing Rogue Sun's rogue gallery. Um, and we're starting to get a little bit of like the I wouldn't say world building, but like the hierarchy and demographic of the characters and everything like that. And it's definitely on the like smaller pacing scale of out of most of the comics that I've read. The pacing reminds me actually of a little bit of Invincible. Invincible was a pretty slow pace comic in my personal opinion.
Oh yeah, it definitely had its slow moments until you got to the like Viltrumite War arc, and then it's just like everything is fucked. Like I am 100% looking forward to seeing the war adapted into the show because that was an insane arc in comics, like one of my top 20 at least. The thing here, like you nailed it. Like he's got this slower, more methodical and you saw this when he was writing for Power Rangers too, like a more methodical approach to introducing plot points, trying to make everything have like heavier weight to it, because you have that attachment, and then when something goes wrong, and it always seems to do that in Ryan Parrott, like comic in general. Like this is the dude that technically killed Tommy. Like there's no getting away with it. Like in the comics, like him and Kyle Higgins killed Tommy. uh,
Yeah, and what's crazy about what we're getting right now is that we're getting developments sort of like slow, but also kind of fast. Because now we know, okay, so we're getting introduced to people that we're getting introduced to people that Marcus was associated with. Like I find it funny, like this old woman is like hosting like a fucking prison for like all of Rogue Sun's like old enemies, and like we're starting to see like this sort of like what kind of job Rogue Sun actually had, because now that we know like the Massiverse is huge, we're starting to sort of see like how each superhero comic in the massive verse is handling their own respective cities, and that's one thing that for me, I'm not that big of like a Marvel and DC guy just yet. I don't read that many comics, but just from like the adaptations and some of the comic panels that I see, that's one of the cool things about Marvel and DC is seeing how each superhero runs their own city. How Superman runs Metropolis different from Batman, or how Spidey runs his city compared to like Hulk, or other
It took a
superheroes.
while there to find a Marvel person that wasn't local to like New York that did it.
I was like, I had to think. I was like, I know Iron Man's in New York, Daredevil. I was like, man, rough. But and it's very interesting because Rogue Sun clearly has been a staple in whatever city they're in. I don't remember uh, for a long time, and like it's almost gives me like sort of like Batman vibe a little bit when how he's running like the city. Because I mean, like clearly he's not killing people in his city.
Unless one of them just miraculously gets exposed to sunlight, and then what can you do? And they chose that fate, which I thought was an interesting little caveat that I'm sure will come back into play later on. Like this hillbilly inbred clan, that's kind of like vampires and werewolves and everything like that. They seem to all be like weak to sunlight, which speaking in the terms of those types of creatures, yeah, it makes sense. Like they've always been like more susceptible to the light. That's why like daywalkers are such a rare thing in like Marvel. But what I'm curious about, like out of all of these defeated villains here, it seems like now we have somebody kind of picking and choosing the battles to test the younger Rogue Sun versus kind of the like, well, everybody's here is locked up. It's a pseudo prison break, but instead of breaking that, we're just like shattering Swarovski crystals on the ground.
That's really funny, and also, it's okay. So I man, it's very interesting because like the fact that like we think a lot of um like we're getting a lot of developments that are just so weird. So like Marcus as a character has just been like he doesn't even trust his own family that he wants to protect. Like he assumed that like his fucking son killed him, but it turns out what is being implied that it was actually his daughter that had him killed.
Yeah.
Like, and then like his son literally making contracts with like demons just to revive his dad. Like that shit's wild. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I like it though because it's definitely putting each of their characters on display because it even puts our main character on display because he has no choice but to essentially become closer to Marcus's new family, and for him, that's probably awkward as fuck because just to him, that's the family that he was sort of like replaced with, and it sucks having Marcus remind him constantly that like, yeah, this is the family that like I replace you. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like he has no choice to protect his mom because if he's protecting his mom, he has to protect Marcus's new family. You know, and I'm liking the fact that he's starting to become closer to Marcus's family because he realizes like, yeah, your dad's a fucking douche. And about time you'll grow up and realize it. And I love the fact that he's just like, I'm just holding on to the Sunstone for now to protect all of us. Once you're older, here, take it off my hands. And like,
You get
I'm
your
lost
shit
though.
kicked in there.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy because like, it's such interesting because like he never really wanted the Sunstone, and now that we have his character in the play saying like, bro, if you want the Sunstone, get old enough,
Go
take
for
this
it.
off first.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
like you've immediately got that like I'm going to guess this will red here like a little like passing of the cowl kind of thing. Like when Batman's too old, which Bat family member will become the new Batman. But here you're just like immediately like, yeah, you're just immediately like my replacement. Like here, you want this shit, you can have it. I never wanted this life for myself. It was thrust on me, and now I'm playing, Ghostbusters, trying to save the spirit here, while also trying to keep the city completely, not in a fucking fiery, inferno over there because I got a cryptid over here. I got some douchebag over here that's coming from another universe probably in the near future. Then we got, the dude that beat dad's head in. It's insane. Like in 3 issues, we've had so much thrown at the wall because we already have this universe kind of sort of established through the supermassive comic, and then we also have like the hankerings on from like the Radiant Black universe. We have the little bits and pieces from like Inferno Girl Red that'll be coming into play at some point, and then like obviously like with Dead Lucky coming in, what kind of undead bullshit, from the little bit that we've seen of Dead Lucky, like that fits right inside this universe here. I almost wonder if like those are like the super connected ones, and and like Radiant Black and Inferno Girl Red will be like the super connected because they obviously are like from different universes with the black hole, and we already know Inferno Girl Red was interdimensional being from the one shot. It kind of makes you wonder, like, because we have so much supernatural stuff in the Rogue Sun universe, if that's where it's going to come into play. But
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, I'm really liking how Ryan Parrott is really doing the comic. He's a comic writer for sure that knows how to take his time. This is my first time reading his works, so it's definitely a situation to where it's just like, whoa, okay. He he knows how to establish his world. He knows how to slowly build up his characters and slowly get us introduced to his characters and how they work and how they function. Because I'm definitely liking RMC already. Like you can just feel for him in many ways, and the one thing that I like so far is that now he's been forced to into this role that he had no choice to thrust into, and now his whole role is trying to get along with a father who basically abandoned him and his mom, while also getting along with a family whose half siblings like he never knew existed, while also fighting Rogue Sons Rogue Gallery, and now it's turning out that one of his kids tried to kill him and is making a deal with like a fucking witch or succubus or whatever. So it's just kind of like, whoa,
all
like
right,
like
I
imagine your own kid got you killed. Like I'm like that's insane. Like I was not expecting that at all. Because I was just like,
I thought it immediately, like he was just expecting the worst of everybody, like as you do when you're in the role of superhero, right?
yeah, but I mean, like, was that was wild. Like,
Yeah, and I just they thought it was my brother, but it was really me.
that's crazy. Because I now want to know what her motive is. Like, why would she have her father killed?
Well, logic would dictate that she wants the Sunstone. Like that's the source of power here in this.
Like, even then though, it's just like this is your father. Like, you supposedly like love to death, right? Like, what was your essentially what was your end game for this character? You know what I mean? Like when I refer to character, but for because you could like I don't know how much I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in his rogue gallery that would love to have the Sunstone, right? But at the same time, it's just like, bro, like you had your dad killed. Like, what the fuck? Like, at some point, you had to be like, okay, like, were you like upset because like he was never there, or like, and like you fucking stole like a crystal prison,
Yeah,
like,
like
yes, you wore that mask.
you literally stole the prison cell from Block C over there, just to kind of kill your brother now, seemingly.
So
Like
I'm just like, what the hell? Like, this is very, very interesting development,
mm,
definitely. And I'm curious to see where it goes from here because, like, now I want to know motivations and sort of like what, because now, and it's actually really funny because now we thought that Marcus's new family had no cracks in it. We thought it was like the most perfect family. That's what we were first introduced to the whole family
oh,
to
but like
magically make
the perfect
family.
family is always a shit show. Like they put up that facade in public, but when you get into like the real world and their own issues, like everybody hates everybody, everybody wants to beat everybody because that toxic nature is kind of built into them.
Yeah, man. Like, think about it, right? Like, we got introduced. We seemed like, oh, they love their dad. He gave their family everything. But now we did this issue. We're like, okay, he thinks his son's killing him. He clearly tried his best, I suppose, but his son it had an issue, which I think which could be foreshadowing because he said he did something that he regrets. He wanted to talk to his dad about it, but he doesn't. There's that, and we know that like he is too busy with hero work. And now that we know that his daughter literally was, I mean, technically we never know. We could it could be misunderstanding. Maybe his daughter really didn't kill him, but have him killed. But if he did get killed, like what was her motive? Like why did she hate her dad so much to where she would literally have him killed for a fucking stone? You know what I mean? For superhero fucking transformation, right? Like
I mean, I would want to be a superhero. I'd get my shit kicked in, but I would want to at least try it. You know, I could see like the childlike mentality there. Like I could do better than dad, and then dad could be home and be dad to the baby brother and the baby sister and the little tiny doggo and all that. Like I could see the child aspect of it, but at the same time, like you gotta wonder like what set off what was the one thing that kind of set the sister off, you know,
yeah,
because you logically it's like one bad day, but that one bad day had to have been from like 7,000 other little tiny things that kind of just spiraled into this I'm going to be a villain now.
that's crazy. That's
Oh, like
man, that
it's insane. Like I'm going back through here like it seems like there's it seems like she might have pocketed the crystal when her and the witch doctor were talking in here, and kind of just stole the one crystal while she was busy giving our protag his rundown of like the rogues gallery and like how all of the powers function there. And it looks like that might have been when she stole the crystal. Huh.
mm, yeah, it's man, man, it's crazy.
It
It's
makes you
definitely
think like how many crystals could she have fit in her pocket that quickly though?
yeah, just casually releasing, prisoners that your dad worked so hard to put away, you know.
And then because he's so paranoid, you're going to think like, well, she's turned against me. We got to find a new place to put it, because in the back of the original Rogue Son's head, like everybody's out to get him now because he was murdered. So it sets off a whole chain of events. It's actually a genius plan on the girl's behalf, like because now you have Daddy Dearest who's living inside Baby Boy's head, all paranoid because somebody had him murdered. He's already suspecting his family. So when people he's beat are just casually becoming sentient again, it's oh god, that's crazy. I just blew my own mind. Like he's gonna have his son come there, beat up an old granny probably now. Why are you releasing the prisoners? Oh my god. I love it. I love it. It's genius. It's genius writing. But the other big thing here, like Thurman, we have one last little tidbit here. Because when the new rogue son beat up this creature here that the brother is talking to, right? He kind of he's a pacifist basically. So when he seemingly had this deal with his dad and the no kill rule, it looks like you he broke the terms of the contract, and now there seems to be like a one chance, but if you fuck it up again, you're we're gonna fight kind of thing, you know.
Hmm.
So given and given the little hint here, like he's telling you the killer you're looking for, they're a lot closer than you think, and then the fuck up of the deal. I kind of think that this Doctor of Death here will kind of have a little bit of a play moving forward too.
Yeah, because it seems like he knows quite a bit, and I really want to know like what more, because clearly he's been and it sucks for his son because now he can't talk all his deals that he wants to do uh for for the spirit world. It's dead now because of he's like because you broke our contract. I'll make sure that no one works with just business you between the two planes. Damn, that sucks, bro. You're out of business now.
Right,
no,
like
no more looking for demonic artifacts.
it's insane. Like how quickly this universe is spread out. It's great writing, but and the heartwarming moment, like you said, was like one of the better moments here in this issue. But like with everything that's gone wrong, we also really did straight up fuck the whole planet up in 3 issues because now Sister seems to have like the crystal, you know, and the succubus, and then we kind of got a little bit of the how the menagerie works here in the post credits thing that they love to do. And that's an interesting one here because there's no escaping the menagerie.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be a form of rehabilitation more akin to Arkham than it is to like a traditional prison.
Or like the Phantom Zone.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little bit of a mixture between the two. Like, that's insane. I love the little Rogue Sun armor as a fucking a scarecrow here too. Like, it's like he definitely. If we want to break it down to like traditional superhero terms here, Radiant Black being more of the Superman of the Massiverse, and then Rogue Sun is very much more the Batman. Fear is his weapon, kind of thing.
Mm.
At least that's how it seems
Yeah,
so far.
because I'm curious to see. I'm really liking how we're not just really jumping into like straight action. Like we're getting a mix of like about, cause it really is like a coming of age superhero story,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really being written that way to sort of make us see the world through our MC's eyes, and sort of see what it's like as a teenager to finally pick up a huge mantle, because that's not something we really see nowadays in comics. Seeing that struggle of picking up a mantle that your father left, especially one that you yourself didn't really want, but now he has to search for a killer that he doesn't even know exists, and the killer is literally like his half sister, who he and their relationship was getting sort of, they were getting closer as siblings too. They were like she was helping him with this Rogue Sun life, and she knows a lot, like getting, she knows what to do, which makes me think like maybe if her dad sort of got her involved a little bit with the Rogue Sun lifestyle as well, and that could also add to why maybe she had him killed, because like she, she's going there picking up the werewolf, she knows where the prison is, and this and that. So there's more to her than what meets the eye, and I really love to see more of her character, because like this is a very interesting development. Like this mask that she has, like she's looking like she's making deals with his villains. Like it makes you wonder, like how deep has she gotten herself into this sort of like lifestyle. Like was she behind the scenes before Marcus even got killed? Was she behind the scenes making deals with his villains for certain things and this and that? And it seems like behind his back, his kids already knew about the supernatural world of his life, because
Mm-hmm.
like the youngest son is like making deals with like people from like characters from like different planes, and now she's like stealing like uh prison crystals. Like there's more to meet the eye when it comes to the family. Like it seems like I forgot our main character's name. I'm bad with names. I
Dylan.
apologize. Dylan. It seems like Dylan's really the only one going into this whole situation blind, while the new family is sort of like already deep diving into this whole supernatural world. And because now when it comes to this, we don't even know if like their mom is involved in sort of this or not. It makes you wonder, like, how deep was Marcus's family because of his superhero roots? How deep were they into the whole situation of the city and all that? And it's really fascinating to see that we're starting to see some more development with him and his family, and like maybe it wonders like maybe is having a family as a superhero really the ideal situation, because regardless whether you want to keep your family safe, they are going to get involved in your superhero business. And clearly, he had his daughter inside the business in one way or another. If not, maybe she did it herself, and then his son, is literally going around and like making deals with like supernatural entities. It makes you wonder, like, how deep uh, are they into this little world, while Dylan himself is new to this kind of world and his reactions to everything. So I think it's very fascinating, and I really can't wait to see the next issue, because now I'm extremely curious to see like where we go from here and the developments we have. So final thoughts.
Yeah, so like the only other thing I really want to add to this is like when we continue to expand this universe, right? Because there's pros and cons to setting up like a super fast story time and a slow burn story time. You know, while we continue to unravel this universe, and Ryan Parrott is already a master at this, but this is just like me breaking down like logic here. When you're introducing so many little plot threads this fast while also trying to explore them very slowly, you tend to have the audience wanting it both ways, right? And we saw this a lot in Doctor Stone, for example, when we covered that. Because, like, especially near the American arc, like, everything seemed to be wrapping up super quick, but we already had so many things that Ignoraki and Boichi had left, like, to the side, right?
Uh huh.
I'm hoping that because we have this massive like multiverse kind of thing going on already, like we don't have that effect because we have so much stuff established early on right now.
Yeah.
And that's my only like really big my big concern here. And obviously like having so much, you know, history in like the Sentai genre and kind of like the inspiration for where a lot of this universe is coming from. You know, having written the Power Rangers comics, like he knows how to do a slow burn story in that regard. But I feel like it would have been a little bit better right now if we would have introduced like the little sister plot twist here a couple issues down the road while we continue to explore, you know, how this prison function and maybe given Dylan a little bit more deep dive into that side of things. Maybe had him fight a couple more little low tier monsters and got a little bit of like his footing into it, and then got his shit kicked in by whoever sister summoned here.
Yeah, sort of like it sort of have more experience before
Yeah,
this plot just was shown.
yeah, that's the only thing that I would have rather had right now.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Like I think that's a out of everything that was sort of like a little fast paced sort of thing. But I mean, um, I'm gonna wait and see,
Mm-hmm.
because right now Dylan doesn't know who the actual like person is. Like only we other readers know.
Yeah.
So we may not even get revealed next issue to Dylan that whoever, because clearly she's having a with that mask that we see towards the end of the chapter. We sort of see that she has like another persona
Mm-hmm.
rather. So
Maybe visiting the Crystal Menagerie kind of taps her into this more villainous persona, like because she's easily manipulated by a demon or something.
yeah, so maybe in a sense like his daughter could be a part of a rogue gallery. He just didn't know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely interesting things. I'm definitely curious to see like where her motivation lies, because that's going to be the kicker.
Oh yeah, and we'll find out next month. Like that's the disappointing thing. Like we'll find out. You know, basically in like 3 weeks actually from when we're filming this because it came out like a week ago at this point. Um, it's the only downside to reading like a monthly series because we're so used to, reviewing manga weekly.
Yeah, but I mean sometimes that monthly grind, man,
it,
hits.
it, it hits, and especially with like this universe here, like where we have 2, 3, 4 issues, and we still need to talk about like Shift and the new Radiant Red that came out recently at some point. The shift from the issue 1 of the Image anthology series is coming out this year for their anniversary, and then like Radiant Red, and that issue set some things in motion for the Radiant Black universe that really will be a fucking interesting development once our protagonist over there figure out what the fuck's going on, because I think that was the little herring that you were waiting for. Um, but totally different title, totally different video that we need to talk about at some point.
Well, yeah, man. Well, a great video. I love the chapter. I think should I start giving my ratings right now for these comics for the like the height of the manga reviews? I
Oh
give
god, yeah.
I give this issue a 7 out of 10.
I definitely agree with a 7 on this one. Like there's a little bit that didn't need to happen so fast, and then there was a lot of really good plot development, storytelling, and a lot of world building in one fucking issue. Like that entire parallel dimension being there, and basically being able to trap anybody there with just a little bit of voodoo is really cool.
All right.
So until next time, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Peace. All right, man.